Hi guys, and welcome to Motorskati. So in this video I want to get to the start of my Knight Rider project. The point is, before I go through all the details of how to restore the Pontiac Firebird and transform it into, convert it into KITT, I want to tell you why I actually want to do this, what my motivation is, because you're gonna need motivation, a lot of it, if you want to go through the entire restoration and conversion, and also how I got to find the Firebird that I actually have. So first of all, what is my motivation behind it? So I'm a car enthusiast, such as probably a lot of you viewers, and I've been a car enthusiast. I've been passionate about cars since I was a little boy. And the car that really ignited that spark for me was KITT. When I first watched, I was born in 1984, so like Knight Rider was already 2 years in, and I probably didn't watch my first episode until I was maybe 4 or 5. But I have memories from back then. So I remember KITT coming through into this purple-colored desert, coming from the back up in the opening scene, and seeing this car, and this really just ignited the spark for me, the passion, the shape, just the sleek black lines of the car had it, like it was just the perfect car for me. Like, and ever since that, like even today, my favorite body style for cars are coupes, or coupes as you would say in the US. Just this 2 doors long hood, 2 doors, sleek body shape, sporty, dual exhaust, V8. That's the thing, that's the tickets. V8 KITT officially didn't have a V8, he had a turbine engine, but you can still hear like they would do a mix-up of the turbine and an actual fuel-powered internal combustion engine, like a V8 engine in KITT. But my point is, it's all about the emotions with cars that you like, or that I like, and so many things got triggered in Knight Rider with KITT, with the show, and also it's a mix of emotions about car, but also about the time back then. So when you see a nice car that you had when you were a kid, or you used to know, well, it reminds you of the car if you liked it, but also it reminds you of a time back then, of that time, and it brings back memories. And back then, in the 80s, the series were quite simple. The way, like, you had, yes, they were very cheesy, and I admit that, and Knight Rider is very cheesy, but it's still cool. I still enjoy watching it today, just because, like, it brings back those memories, and I'm looking more in detail into KITT and see how he was, so I can make a really good replica out of it. But besides KITT, I always like the story also behind or within Knight Rider. I like the fact that one man could make a difference, and he was shot in the face and miraculously survived, and then brought back with a new face and fought for the good thing. So it was obviously very simple, but he was a very good guy. He and the Foundations were the good guys, and they would fight the bad guys, obviously. And most of the episodes were kind of closed within themselves, so you didn't really have, like nowadays, have to watch every single episode in the proper order in order to understand one episode. Like, you can pick one from within the second season at any given time and pretty much understand, like, have not many questions open at the end of it. Like, just go out with KITT, fight the bad guys, kiss the girl, and drive off. My point is, it was a positive show. As David Hasselhoff said, it had heart, action, and humor. So when you have that during your childhood, that's just it. You have it engraved in your brain and also in your heart. And even though, like, over the years, kind of falls into the background, but later on, when you start to save a little money, can get a car like this, and see that today those Firebirds are actually quite cheap-ish to buy. It's like, why not KITT? Why not, like, buy one and convert it into KITT? But truth be told, this KITT replica isn't the first I've done. Like, actually haven't had a proper Firebird to start off with, but when I was 15, I built my own soapbox car KITT. I was made out of wood, and I had a base, like kind of pedal car that I cut up to like build the axles and the steering, and I had all the wheels. So, and at home we had like a leftover of wood planks, and I just like made my drawings, cut them up, like screwed them, bolted them together, bought a couple of black paint rattle cans, and just spray painted the wooden car in black, and that was just KITT for me. That was just cool. I mean, I couldn't really drive it. It would just go down. We would just take it down a hill and have kind of an approximate, like somewhat of brakes, but basically I had KITT, and that was cool. So let's get back to my actual Pontiac Firebird. So in Switzerland, Pontiacs were, like these Pontiacs and Firebirds were imported officially, so we've always had the ones that have been imported from North America, from whoever company was specialized in that, or even from a private person, but we also had the ones that were officially imported from the dealer. So it's not like it is a super rare car. You can still, like at any given time today, you would find about 10 Firebirds on the market. So that wasn't that difficult to source, and most of them, if not all, are the V8 cars, the 305 throttle body injection, which in the US are probably not very like looked after, because, well, people don't really like them because they don't have much power. 175 horsepower max, like they have enough torque, but whatever. The point is, cars are available here, or were available, and many of them are actually in very good shape. Well, some are in very good shape, and some are in terrible shape, but I wanted something in between. I wanted something that was mechanically sound, but wasn't pristine, because these cars today, for me, they're already classics. So I didn't want, I like the Firebird standard as they are also, so I didn't really want to get a really nice one at GTA or whatever, and just chop them up, which is not what I'm doing anyways, but still, might as well keep them original. So I wanted a fixer-upper. I wanted to make it an actual project and have things to change and not just bolt on a couple of things and then that's it. But getting into the project, I knew that wasn't going to be that easy anyways. So I always had, in the back of my mind, I had like started up a spreadsheet already with things I would have to change, or would have to have on my car, for the exterior and the interior, obviously, with all the dashboards and lights and buttons. And last year, I was basically ready to go for it, but I always knew that when you have a project car like this, you need a garage, and the car is going to sit in there for many, many months at a time, obviously, and might take it out occasionally, depending on where you are at, bring it to the paint shop and whatever, but I knew that it would probably be inconvenient to have it at home. I do have a garage here, you've seen, but I wanted to have a proper, see if I could get a proper garage with a lift, get under the car and do everything nicely. But obviously getting a garage would also could cost rent, and I couldn't really find any, so I thought, well, I'll just wait. But then last August 2017, I found this really nice Firebird, grey one that hadn't really been driven much over 10 years apparently, and it was pretty much a one owner. Well, it was from the second owner, but the second owner had bought it, traded it in the month of May, and hadn't really driven it and didn't really have a use for it, so it was up for auction on a website. And I called the guy, asked him a couple of questions about the state of the car. There were, like he mentioned, a couple of dents, but nothing major. Obviously he didn't know everything also about the car. And then we agreed on a price on the phone, and sight unseen basically agreed that I would buy it. And then my brother-in-law and I, a couple of days later, we went over to pick it up. And to agree on a buy sight unseen on a car, that's something I really wouldn't recommend. I've never done it before. I've bought cars before. I've always went and had a clear look at the car and do a test drive. But in this case, I don't know why, like, we felt confident, or I felt confident also, because I was going to repaint it anyway. I was going to spend some money on bodywork anyways, and it was running. It was the first owner. It had all the documentations. So I took the risk. But also what I have to say, like, why did I pick it now, even though I knew I didn't have a garage to like store it, or I didn't have a separate garage apart from the one at home. It's because my brother-in-law gave it to me. Like, it was a birthday present from him to me, and that was just amazing, because, I mean, I was speechless, and I still am today. And sometimes he says, is it really a blessing? Because as you progress in the project, you see what else you have to fix, and what else you have to buy to make it right. So, but anyway, that's off topic. My brother-in-law actually bought me this car, and it was a birthday present, and I'm very grateful to him for this, because not only, but he knew that I had done all my research on what I needed to do for this conversion, and he also knew that this was not just another car, it was a project that I was passionate about for as long as I can remember, and that it was much more than just a car for me. And at some point in the near future, I hope that I will have the proper opportunity. I think I will have the proper opportunity in the near future to pay that back to him with interest. So there we went. The guy had several other Pontiacs in his garage. He had a Fiero, had a couple of 4th generation Firebirds. But he said himself that the 3rd generation Firebirds are the ones that are more, well, there's more demand for them as for the 4th. I mean, they're nice too, but obviously if you're into Knight Rider and all that stuff. So we went there, talked to the guy, had a look at the car. Obviously, I wasn't actually that much impressed by the Firebird when I saw it from the back first, because I didn't really like those cherry bomb exhaust tips. I am not a big fan of the standard Firebird taillights. Obviously there wasn't the spoiler, and then also it had this horrible, which was standard for the export models, tangle plastic foldable rear view mirrors, which are awful. I mean, the car has really nice lines and it gets ruined by this. So I got in, had a look at the whole car. Obviously not everything was perfect, but it was as he described it. The headlights didn't, but they worked, but the headlight motor, they didn't pop down or up, they were just stuck up. And the indicator didn't work. So I actually drove home without functioning indicators. Other than that, everything worked. He gave me all the documents, we signed the contract, my brother-in-law paid him, and off we went home. Yeah, so there I had it. I mean, I was super excited to drive home, to get the Firebird home, to get started on the project. I mean, right from the beginning I knew there was going to be like a lot of work that I would have to put in, especially also just get parts. I mean, I was just super excited to actually have the Firebird, to own that and to drive it. It's actually a really nice, I didn't really know what it would be like to drive, and I'm surprised, I was positively surprised on the way home how nice it is to drive. It's just a really nice cruiser. I wouldn't say it's a sporty car, at least not the way it was back then, because obviously like brakes and shock absorbers, all that stuff, it worked, but it was about time to change all of that. But I was just super excited to have KITT, like I'm going to have the Firebird, to get it home to the garage and to get properly started on the project. So, alright guys, so let me know in the comments like how you got into cars, if you're into cars, what ignited that spark for you. I would be interested to see, like everyone has their story usually. It would be nice to hear from you, like what it is that started the interest in cars for you. The next video is going to be about the build plan of this restoration and conversion, so I'll get more into details about what I'm going to do and give you an overview of all the steps I will be doing, or obviously by now already have done in some regards. So if you want to share your story about how you got into cars, what ignited the spark for you to get into cars, and maybe also share some pictures, feel free to go into my Facebook page and share them there. The link to it will be, as always, in the description. And yeah, basically that's it for now. Next video will be the build plan of the car, of KITT. And with that said, as always, thank you very much for watching, and until next time.